It starts quietly. A thought, like a single bird at dawn, then another and another, until before you know it, the sky of your mind is filled with them, their flight patterns, their songs, their shadows against the landscape of your day. This person, their name becomes a rhythm underneath your thoughts, a current pulling you away from the present moment. We often call this love. We romanticize the inability to focus, the constant daydreaming. We say, "He just can't get me off his mind," and we frame it as the ultimate compliment. But there is a distant shore to this experience, a place where healthy infatuation ends and something more consuming begins. It's not about love anymore. It's about need. It's not about connection. It's about control, even if that control is only happening inside one person's mind. Today, we are not talking about the sweet pangs of a new crush. We are navigating the deeper, often darker psychology of emotional obsession. When a man can't stop thinking about you, here are the 9 deep signs that it has crossed the border from admiration into obsession. 1. The compulsive mental loop. This is the foundation of it all. It's not merely thinking of you fondly during a quiet moment. This is a non-negotiable, intrusive mental process. A man experiencing a healthy attraction thinks about you when he sees something that reminds him of you, a song, a place you both know. His thoughts are reactive, sparked by the external world. The obsessor, however, carries his thoughts of you like a self-contained ecosystem. He doesn't need a trigger. The thought of you is the default state. His internal monologue is a closed loop. It replays past conversations, analyzing every word, every pause, every emoji in a text message. It fast-forwards to imagined future scenarios, dates, holidays, a life together, constructed in vivid detail. It becomes a form of mental time travel, but one that consistently avoids the present reality. He is either dissecting the past or colonizing the future, and in doing so, he abandons the now. This loop is not pleasant. It's often fraught with anxiety. What did she mean by that? Why hasn't she texted back? Is she with someone else right now? The thinking is not joyful. It is compulsive, a wheel spinning in mud, generating heat and friction, but producing no forward movement. His mind is no longer his own sanctuary. It has become a chamber where you reside, unbidden and constant. 2. The erosion of personal agency. His world begins to shrink. His own interests, hobbies, friendships, and responsibilities start to seem distant, less important. The color drains from the canvas of his own life because all the pigment is being used to paint the picture of you. A project at work that once commanded his focus now feels tedious compared to the dopamine hit of checking your social media profile. A Saturday morning that used to be for hiking or reading is now spent mentally crafting the perfect message to send you. His personal agency, his ability to act independently and make his own free choices, is being eroded by the mental occupation. This is a key differentiator between love and obsession. Love should expand your world. It should make you want to be a better, more engaged person. You introduce each other to new things, you maintain your own identities, and you come together enriched. Obsession, however, is a parasite. It consumes the host's identity for its own sustenance. He stops being John who paints, plays guitar, and has a book club. He becomes John who thinks about Sarah. His life becomes a satellite, and you are the planet he now orbits, his own atmosphere thinning out in the process. 3. The emotional roller coaster, tethered to your actions. His emotional state is no longer determined by his own internal world, but by his perception of your availability and approval. It's a brutal, exhausting roller coaster where you hold all the controls, though you are likely completely unaware of it. You send a text with a heart emoji. He's euphoric. The sun is brighter, music sounds better, and he feels invincible. This high can last for hours. But then you take 3 hours to reply to a message. The crash is immediate and devastating. Anxiety claws at his stomach. Doubt floods his mind. He becomes sullen, irritable, distracted. He might check his phone obsessively, the act itself a tiny, painful hit of hope each time the screen lights up with anything other than your name. This is emotional dependency, not love. He is outsourcing his self-worth and emotional regulation to you. His stability is conditional upon your external validation. In a healthy dynamic, your partner's mood can affect you, but your core sense of self remains intact. Here, his core sense of self is defined by your interactions. He is on a string, and every one of your movements, however slight, causes him to jerk and spin. 4. The fantasy has replaced the reality. In his mind, he is not in a relationship with you, the actual, complex, flawed, and autonomous human being. He is in a relationship with a fantasy he has constructed around you. You are the main character in a novel he is constantly writing and rewriting in his head. This fantasy version of you is perfect. She always says the right thing, understands him on a cosmic level, and exists primarily to complement his life narrative. The real you, the you who has a bad day, who needs space, who has opinions he disagrees with, who has a life that doesn't include him, becomes an inconvenience to the narrative. When reality contradicts the fantasy, he doesn't adjust the fantasy. He becomes frustrated with reality. He may misinterpret your simple kindness as a profound romantic signal, because that's what the script calls for. He may become confused or even angry when you act in a way that doesn't align with his internal character for you. He is not listening to you anymore. He is listening to the story he tells himself about you. This is a profound form of objectification. You are no longer a subject with your own agency. You are an object in his psychological landscape, to be moved and manipulated for the sake of the plot. 5. The loss of boundaries. Obsessive thinking does not respect borders. It spills over into action. This is where the internal world begins to invade the external one. This manifests as what might seem on the surface as attentiveness, but it's attentiveness with a desperate, hungry quality. He might text you good morning and good night every single day without fail, and if you don't respond, the anxiety we discussed earlier kicks in. He might show up at places he knows you'll be, not by explicit invitation, but by coincidence that is meticulously engineered. He will probe for information. Who were you with last night? Can be framed as casual interest, but the undercurrent is one of surveillance. He needs data to feed the mental loop. Social media becomes a primary tool. He won't just glance at your profile. He will analyze every post, every like, every comment, every follower. He is building a dossier, trying to piece together the parts of your life he cannot directly observe. This is a violation of psychic space. He believes he has a right to know, a right to be present, a right to your attention, precisely because his thoughts have granted him that right in his own mind. 6. The soulmate narrative on fast forward. A man in the grip of obsession will often articulate his feelings through the language of destiny. It was meant to be. We have a connection I've never felt before. You're my soulmate. While these can be beautiful sentiments in a mature, evolving relationship, in the context of obsession, they are declared far too early and with an absolute non-negotiable certainty. This isn't a hopeful discovery. It's a foregone conclusion he has reached in isolation. This narrative serves a psychological purpose. It justifies the intensity of his feelings and his actions. How can he be expected to act rationally when faced with a cosmic, fated love? It removes his agency and responsibility. He's not being obsessive. He's just following the path the universe has laid out. This destiny narrative is also a huge red flag for love bombing. a tactic where someone overwhelms you with affection and grand promises to create a sense of intense connection and dependency. It feels incredibly flattering at first, but it's a mirage, built not on the slow, sturdy foundation of genuine knowledge, but on the quick, unstable sands of fantasy and need. 7. The undercurrent of possessiveness and jealousy. Because you are central to his fantasy and his emotional stability, any perceived threat to that connection is met with intense fear and hostility. This is not the mild, fleeting jealousy that anyone can feel. This is a deep-seated possessiveness. He may make comments about your friends, particularly male friends, questioning their motives or your judgment for spending time with them. He might interpret your professional interactions with colleagues as flirtatious. Your past relationships are not just history, they are potential rivals, ghosts he feels he is competing with. This possessiveness stems from the fact that he does not see you as a free agent. In his mind, you belong to the narrative, and therefore, to him. Any external influence is a plot deviation he must correct. This is often disguised as protectiveness. I just worry about you, or I don't trust him, he's not good for you. But the core of it is not care for your well-being, it is fear for his own. Your autonomy is the greatest threat to his obsession. 8. The inability to tolerate silence or space. For the obsessive mind, silence is not golden, it is a vacuum, and nature abhors a vacuum. In the absence of your actual presence or communication, the mental loop goes into overdrive, often generating worst-case scenarios. If you need a day to yourself, he doesn't think, she's busy or she needs some space. He thinks, she's losing interest, she's with someone else, I've done something wrong. This anxiety becomes so unbearable that he must fill the silence. This leads to hoovering, attempts to suck you back into interaction. You will receive a message, then another, maybe an hour later, perhaps a phone call. The texts might evolve from casual to concerned, is everything okay, to slightly wounded, I guess you're mad at me, or even to angry, so you're just ignoring me now? The subtext of every message is the same, acknowledge me, reassure me, restore my equilibrium. He is not giving you space because his psychological survival, in his mind, depends on your constant validation. 9. The identity merger. You are my everything. This is the culmination of all the previous signs. The fantasy, the dependency, the erosion of self. They all coalesce into a single, dangerous belief that he cannot be whole, cannot function, cannot be happy without you. The phrase, "you are my everything," is not romantic in this context. It is a confession of profound self-abandonment. He has handed you the keys to his entire emotional universe. You are his sun, his moon, his stars, and his weather. This is an immense, unfair, and impossible burden to place on another human being. No one can be another person's everything. It is the job of a prison warden, not a partner. When a man says this from a place of obsession, it is not a compliment. It is a warning. It means he has dismantled his own identity and is looking for you to house it. It means that any attempt you make to have boundaries, to have a life outside of him, to be an individual, will be perceived as an existential threat. He will cling tighter, not out of love, but out of the terror of psychological annihilation. So, what does this mean for you? If you recognize these signs in someone's behavior towards you, it is crucial to understand that you are not dealing with a grand romantic love. You are dealing with a person in profound psychological distress. His feelings, while intense, are not about you. They are about the hole inside of him that he is trying to fill with your image. Compassion is possible from a distance, but entanglement is dangerous. You cannot reason with an obsession. You cannot love him out of it. Your continued presence, even if you are setting boundaries, only fuels the loop. The only way to break the cycle is to disrupt the fuel supply, which is your attention, your interaction, your presence. Setting firm, non-negotiable boundaries is essential. This may mean clearly and calmly stating your need for space and then enforcing it, even when he protests, accuses, or love-bombs you again. It may, in severe cases, mean blocking him on all platforms and going no contact. This is not cruel. It is the only truly kind thing to do for both of you. It protects you from being consumed, and it removes the external object of his obsession, forcing him eventually to confront the emptiness within himself. That is a journey he must take alone. Remember, a healthy love feels like peace. It feels like coming home to yourself and inviting someone else in. It is built on a foundation of two whole people choosing to share their worlds, not two halves trying to become one complete person. A love that is real, respects your silence, champions your autonomy, and loves you for who you are, not for who you are in someone's desperate, lonely fantasy.